In my last video, I talked about how we get about what seller finance looks like. You know, these are going to be more people that are the difficult sellers, and you always come across these people that will say, well, I want $200,000 for my house, and you can obviously see it's only worth $100,000. I mean, you definitely can't give somebody a cash offer of $200 when it's worth $100, right? And so one of our strategies is called seller finance. Okay, Mr. Seller, we can't give you $200,000 cash for your property. However, we could possibly give you that $200,000 if you would take it in payments. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say, well, what do you mean payments? And this is exactly what I mean. So say we take that same seller, and I mean, I've pitched this 100 times, so it's kind of all the same, but we took that same seller and we said, all right, Mr. Seller, we're gonna give you $200,000 for your property. Let's say that it could comp out at $150,000. So essentially what we're doing is we're giving you $50,000 more for a property that's only worth $150,000. I mean, why would we do that? Well, we would do that because now, Mr. Seller, you're becoming the bank. And so we explain it as we're gonna give you a down payment, so a little bit of money up front. Let's say we're usually around 5%. So 5% is pause it because I can't think of 5%. $10,000. So we're gonna give you, Mr. Seller, $10,000 up front, and then we're gonna continue to make you monthly payments on this amount. So let's just say we're gonna give you $800 a month. I'm just making that up, right? These are numbers that you're gonna have to negotiate with the seller based off of rents and, you know, your cash flow and all that kind of thing, what you can get for it. But I'm gonna give you a little bit up front, and then I'm gonna make you monthly payments. Does that sound like something you can do if you get your $200,000? And this just opens up a conversation and helps you to cut through to those difficult sellers and help them sell their property and get more deals. Okay, so now that we've seen this, let me do an actual deal that I've really done before. So we had a seller that had a fourplex. So he had 4 different units side by side. They were kind of like these little townhomes, a 2-1. And savvy guy, owned these properties for a long time. They needed a little bit of rehab, not much, in a very good area. And he had a tax problem. He was retiring. So this is really good for retirees. And he didn't want to have all that capital gains. And he also wanted to sell it for way more than what it was worth, and he knew that he could if he became the bank and offered seller financing. And so this is kind of what it looked like. We negotiated a purchase price of $500,000. Now, here's the thing with purchase price. It doesn't really matter what the purchase price is. It can't be something absolutely insanely ridiculous, but if you're doing the purchase price, that doesn't really matter. So when you're negotiating that with the seller, leave that for last, right? But since we're going through real numbers, I'm just gonna start here. So we negotiated a purchase price of $500,000. He wanted $50,000 down. So we're gonna give him we gave him $50,000 down. Now again, we negotiated this. This is 10% of the purchase price, and that's kind of the max where you want to be. But we knew based on the cash flow that we could probably go 10% of the purchase price, and we knew we were going to take probably another $50,000 to fix the place up, to get it ready to be a midterm rental, which means that it wasn't a long-term, just a shorter term, so a midterm rental, and we were going to be able to cash flow. So we were okay being 20% in. Most of the time, we try to stay within 10%. But we gave them $50,000. It was going to